All right, hey everyone, this is Ivory, America's trusted financial coach, and I have a very special guest with me here. And you guys, I get super excited just talking about this topic because you know this is my favorite topic. And I love talking about everything getting in terms of getting out of debt. I have with me the wonderful Jennifer. How you doing, Jennifer?
I'm good. How are you?
Whew, I'm pretty well. Today's going well, but I'm even more so excited to share your story because you have paid off 65,000 plus dollars in debt.
Yeah,
And I hear people tell me all the time, they say, like, you know what, I don't think that's possible. I don't think it's possible to be debt free. And I'm like, well, I'm going to find some people and we're going to have conversations about this. And I'm going to show you that no, people who are debt free does exist. So thank you for coming on and thank you for just, sharing some insight with us.
absolutely.
All right, so without further ado, let's get started. I have a hot button question to ask you. Like, for you, what was that switch, that mental switch in your mind or emotional switch in your mind that made you feel like, you know what, I got to get rid of this debt. I want to be debt free. Like, what switched it for you?
Um, wow. Well, I was debt free, and then I found myself in a jam, a pretty deep jam, and it was not the plan I had for my life. And it really, I couldn't sleep at night, honestly. I couldn't sleep at night. Um, I think the breaking point was when I came home from the hospital with my brand new baby and opened the mail and found out that my husband, my husband at the time, had opened a credit card to balance the bills, and it was $10,000 on top of the two car payments, on top of his student loan, on top, it was just, that was the breaking point for me. I'm like, this has got to go. So I lost it. I actually was up that night until like 2 a.m. Googling anything I could find on paying down debt. And
Wow.
yeah.
Wow, 2 in the morning. So you were like red hot
Oh,
on fire.
oh yeah, I was doing it today.
All right, well, I have to ask. I mean, throughout that whole journey, was there anything that got you discouraged or you felt like, you know what, this is just too much for me? Because paying out debt, as I hear it all the time, people say it's just too much to bear. Like, did you ever feel like giving up or quitting? And if so, what was like going through your mind? Walk us through that.
It's exhausting, honestly. I mean, especially I was pulling for two because he wasn't really on board. And I hate to trash the man,
Yeah.
but he wasn't on board for a long time. And so I was making all these rules. We're not going to do this. We're going to do that, and it just got exhausting. And I wanted to give up, but giving up would just be going back to where we were and getting worse. There was no option to give up, really. So I just, dug in my heels and pulled some resources together, your little online like-minded people, and got more creative and just kept going.
Wow. When you say there was no options to give up, what do you mean by that?
There was no option to give up. I could not go backwards. We would just be, I mean, we had worked our way maybe like halfway out of the debt at that point. And so I had to, indoctrinate him.
That's what they say, yeah, right? He had to get on board because he was
Yep.
not on board initially.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a hard one too, because
Mhm.
if one spouse is ready to go and the other spouse is like, it's a hard time. So
Very hard.
kudos for you to get in on board. Like, what did you do? What were some of the things that you did to get him on board?
Um, we started reading together. I got him into a class, and we were watching videos and reading together. And he kind of saw it. He kind of, saw other people, and saw the that I hate to say, the free spirit and the nerd. That's where we were at.
Yeah.
Had to have that conversation that, oh, okay, I'm the nerd and he's the free spirit. So that those were the conversations that we had to have, and just showing him my long-term vision of where we can be and how life can be, and you know, it couldn't continue. It was not substantial. It was not, what's the word I'm looking for? It wasn't going to work. It wasn't.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You use the word vision, and that's something interesting because I think that's the first thing that comes is having that strong why and that vision for why you're doing this in the first place. Because I think if you don't have that, it's going to be hella difficult to kind of get out of debt, like because it's such a huge thing. So walk us through like any daily routines or daily habits or little bitty small things that you did that made the journey or help you pay off debt a lot faster.
Well, the first thing I did was cut the cable because I was already very frugal. So the only thing I could see to get what I call wiggle room um, was to cut the cable. And he's a sports guy. So it was really
Wow.
difficult. He was a sports guy. So I'm like, can you go to JC Penney and just hang out, I don't know, whatever. TV department. So yeah, we cut the cable. We didn't go anywhere unless we needed to. So driving got diminished to let's stack errands together in a row, and if you're leaving, do this on the way. And so we cut down on gas usage. One of the huge things was groceries. So
Yeah.
meal planning, making a list, only buying what you need. And I went through the pantry, like we kind of were on a challenge to let's use up everything that we can in the pantry and only buy things that we need to go with what we already have in the freezer. And so that was kind of the another kick in the in the budget there to get that going. Of course I had my spreadsheet, so I was always tracking everything. That's how.
Mhm.
One odd thing I did, I unplugged everything in the house that we were not using.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. If you're not using it, unplug it. And it honestly brought our electric bill down a little bit. Every little bit was a victory. And you have to look at the victories. You have to see the steps that you're making, no matter how big, no matter how small, and celebrate them. And so I could take that $20 or $40 and put it, and we were on the credit card, and we could be that much farther ahead. And when you look at like an amortization table, and
Mhm.
that $40 on your card just saved you all this much other money. It's motivating when you look at the big picture like that. Couple other things we did, you turn the heat down a little bit cooler than normal, you put on a sweater, you wear extra socks, whatever. um Shopping at different stores that are maybe a little less expensive, trying some off-brand items that you wouldn't normally buy. um Clothes, like, so I told you my youngest son was just born, and you need baby clothes like every 3 months. So I was on Marketplace, or at that time it was what was it? Craigslist.
Craigslist or something? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually met some cool people that had kids that were a year older than my son, and so we just had this kind of call me when you've got stuff and I'll come pay you for it. So that was
Nice.
fun. I met friends out of it, and um I had to take the ATM card out of his wallet. Yeah. So we had our gas money. Here's your packed lunch. Do not go to the ATM, period, because there was a $20 a day kind of habit going on, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
for nothing, for just absolutely nothing. So just getting a rein on, here's what your allowance is, make it work as best as you can. And the faster we pay this down, the more allowance you can have later on.
Wow.
That's a
That is
lot.
amazing. So what I hear is you had systems in place, you had a strategy, you
Hmm.
had buy-in, some type of buy-in. I mean, I'm sure, sometimes it wasn't always fun, And then you had a community as well. So it sounds like you had a lot of different things to kind of help you along the way. So
Yep.
kudos to you. And let me ask you this. Now that you're debt free, that's the thing of the past right now. How has this changed you? In what way has this changed you, your money goals, or how has this changed you as a person?
Well, I'm a lot more, I'm generous now in ways that I wasn't able to be before. First of all, the way I look at money now, money is a tool to retirement. So that's my goal. I'm just chunking money into my retirement. Um, but I'm, with my emergency fund and the better job that I have now, which is awesome. Um, I'm able to help people out when they're in trouble, or like my son, we're cash flow in college, not me, but him, his dad, I, and financial aid, we're all able to kind of keep him in college debt free, which is my goal. Um, and he works hard. He's a hard worker, and he's been indoctrinated. He's on the right path. I've shown him. You can be on path A or path B. What do you want your life to look like in 4 years? Um, so I have friends that struggle from time to time, and I'm able to give them a gift that they need if they can't pay the light bill, or it's just nice to be able to give, to help people, and not expect anything in return, and know that I'm taking care of myself and going on vacation and plowing money into my retirement. I mean, it's a nice feeling. It's a place I dreamed of that I never thought I would be in, because you don't see people in that place.
Yeah, I totally agree with you 100%. And that's what I'm seeing as well. I heard a friend the other day, I was talking to one of my homies, and he was telling me, like, we were talking about retirement. And I mentioned that we were just talking about like the politics of today. And he told me that he felt like he would never be able to retire. And this guy is like 32 years old, and he makes about, I would say about six figures. He makes six figures. And he said, I'm going to work to the day I die. And I was just like, yo, how much are you saving? What are you doing? And he was just like, man, I don't think I can retire. So I think it's more psychological for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not going to deny that prices are up, everything is more expensive. But at the same time, I do think it's a mindset that people have that, well, it's just what it is. I'll see when I get there. So kudos
Yep.
to you for having that mindset to focus on a goal and have a goal towards retirement as well. So
Thank you.
kudos. Yeah. And before we go, oh, go ahead. You want to say something?
You have to have a vision. You have to have a dream. And I know, like, nowadays houses seem unattainable, and then
Yes.
broke on a house, and so retirement seems even more unattainable. But you you gotta just keep your eye on the prize and keep working towards it. I've seen some young people just really, um, just nose to the grindstone and make it happen and retire early, and it's like, holy smokes, I wish you 20 years ago.
Yeah. It's a real thing. Fire. And
Fire.
that's a goal I have for myself. I have a work optional. I think I still want to work because I just enjoy being a creative, but I do want to have the option to not work. I really do. And I'm talking about 50, maybe 45. But I'm like, I don't want to be working for the rest of my life. So,
Yeah, there's too
but
many.
yeah, yeah. And I would just say this is the last question I have for you. What would you say to somebody that's on their debt free journey right now? Just started, they're overwhelmed, a lot of debt. And what one piece of advice would you give them to stay the course?
That's a good one. Um, I would say break your goals down into smaller goals and celebrate each win somehow. I mean, we would get a movie from the library and pop some popcorn and celebrate. It doesn't have to be
Nice.
much, but when you have a mountain or an elephant, you have to eat one bite at a time, right? So look at the little bite-sized pieces. What am I going to do? What can I do today? Or what can I accomplish this week or this month? Little bite-sized goals, I think, is the hugest. piece of advice I can give. Um, Gosh, can I tell a story?
Sure. We love stories.
So I remember, you're paying down debt, you're working every day, you got a family you're raising. It's exhausting. And I remember wanting to go on vacation so bad, but not having any money. And so we decided to set aside, I don't know, I think it was $150 and have a staycation. We did this 2 years in a row while we're
Nice.
thick of it. Okay. So staycation, we're tenting in the backyard because we like to tent camp. And so the rules were no chores, no cooking. So we ate out at reasonable places, and we acted like tourists in our own town. We went to an art fair. We took in a matinee movie. We went to the splash pad. Just a free museum, just something to lighten things up for a little while and just kind of enjoy something other than a weekend where you're doing laundry and getting groceries.
Break it down in smaller goals. I
Smaller
love that.
goals and little celebrations.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much for your time, Jennifer. $65,000 crushed. We like that. And just want to say thank you again for coming on and talking to us about that.
Absolutely. You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.